Hello! Now I am going to show you a tutorial on how to create a salty graph, okay? Now, salty is not about food, but it is, an acronym so that you will remember the different parts of a graph, okay? So let's look at what SALT means, okay? S stands for scale. Okay, and we will talk more about that later. A is for axis, okay, which is the plural of axis. Axis is singular, axis is plural. And then label and title. Okay, so all of these are important parts of your graph, okay? So let's go back to this slide. Now, you have learned how to complete a frequency table, okay? So this is what we call a frequency table, okay? So we started with the categories, then we had the tally, and we counted the tally and ended up with the frequency, okay? So after that, we went and did the cumulative frequency, okay? So I just added the column here just to, it's a short revision. So basically what you do, you transfer the first value there and then add. So 1 plus 0 gives you 1. 1 plus 3 gives you 4. 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 plus 10 is 22. 22 plus 3 is 25. So this just means you had a total of 25 respondents or people who took the Mad Minute, okay? So now let's graph it, okay? So axis means the lines of the graph. So we have going up and down the y-axis, okay? Remember, up and down is y, and left and right is x, okay? Now, these are the axes, okay, that you know where x and y is. Y is up and down, x is left and right. Y is standing up, x is lying down, okay? So what's the next thing we need to do? We need to put in the proper scale, okay? We need to put in the proper scale on the axis, okay? So let's look at what the information we have on the table. We have two sets of information, scores and frequency, okay? So usually the category, okay, this is the category, which is scores, okay? We usually put that on the x-axis. So I will label, okay, the x-axis scores, okay? Label. So we are now labeling the axis, okay? And for the y-axis, we put in the frequency, okay? And what is the frequency? It is actually the number of students, okay? The number of students, the number of respondents, okay? Which is the frequency. Okay, so now we have drawn our axis and we have labeled our axis. Okay, now let's go on to the scale. Scale is the numbers that we put on the graph. Okay, so where the x and y axis meet, this is the origin. So this is where 0 should be, okay? Now notice I put 0 over here where the axis meets. There are some students who put a 0 here and a 0 here. That is incorrect, okay? 0 is where the x and y axis meet or intersect, okay? So 0 is shared by x and y over here, okay? Now let's look at the scores. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the score increases by 1. So the distance between the interval between 0 and 1, okay, it's not a lot. It's just going up by 1. So how do I put in the scores? Okay, I can do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now if you notice, I put in the same amount of space. Okay, I counted like every 2 blocks I put in a value. That is very important. There are some students who do this. Okay, this is wrong. The interval, okay, the interval or space between values, okay, need to be the same, need to be equal. So if I am going to put in my scale, okay, I would put it in 1, and then look, skip 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now, Miss, why did you do it that way? Why do you need to keep on skipping? Okay, because you have a lot of space. See, you have a lot of space and you only have like 6 values or 5 values. Okay, so I can put it this way, but it's going to be very crowded. Okay, it's going to be very crowded. So you want to spread out your values. Okay, and that is why I put it in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I have enough space. Okay, now let's look at the frequency. As you can see over here, the lowest frequency is 0 and the highest frequency is 10. So I need to put in values from 0 to 10. Okay, now it's a different story here because I need to put more values, twice the values here. So I need to go block by block. Okay, so I need to go 1 to 10 block by block. Okay, so there will be enough room for all the values of the frequency. So I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, 9, 10. Okay, so all the values are there. So now let's graph it. Okay, let me just change the color of this. Let's make it green. Okay, so there was one person who got 0. So I am going to put, okay, a bar over there. Okay, so, okay, 0. Okay, that means one person got 0. 1, nobody got 1. 2, 3 people got 2 marks. Okay, so 3 is over here, and 2 is over here. Okay, so let's put in a bar. Okay, so that means 3 people got 2 marks. Next, 3 people got 8 marks. Okay, so where is 8? 8 is over here. Okay, that's why you need to use a ruler for this. And 3 marks. Okay, and I shade it. Okay, you can shade it, not shade it. I just want to shade it. I'm in the mood for shading. Okay, next, 10 people got 4 marks. Okay, so 10 is over here and 4 marks is here. Okay, so I just make another bar. And lastly, 3 people got 5 marks, okay? So 3 is over here and got 5 marks. There you go. There is your bar chart, okay? Now, if you notice, okay, I put gaps between the bars, okay? Gaps means space between the bars because we are making a bar graph, okay? In bar graphs, the bars are separated, okay? Now, some of you might make a graph that looks like this. This, boys and girls, is not a bar graph. This is a histogram. Okay? And we will talk about histograms later. Histograms, see, have no gaps in between. Bar graphs have gaps in between. So please make sure of that, okay? So let's continue now to the salty graph. Let me erase some of these things. You can rewind it to look at the information again. Okay, now let's look at the next page. We did the scale. We have the axis. We labeled it properly. Now what's left is the title. Okay, so the title of your graph needs to tell us what the graph is all about, so that when people read it, they know what information is presented. So these are Mad Minute scores. Okay, let's say, let's put it 8Z Mad Minute scores. Let me give you a hint. If the table already has a title, guess what? You can use the same title for your graph. Okay, if the table does not have a title, then you have to think, what are these scores about? Then that will be your title. But for this one, we already know that the graph is about 8Z Mad Minute scores. Okay, and we usually underline the title, or some people want to put it in a box. That's fine as well. So ladies and gentlemen, that is what a salty graph is. Okay, we have to make sure it's salty, meaning you have the scale. Okay, so this is the scale. You have the axis, which is the y and the x-axis. Make sure the x is lying down, y is standing up. Okay, y is up and down, x is left and right. And then what else do we have? So we have the scale, the axis, and then we have the labels. Okay, make sure you know which goes to the labels. Okay, the scores go to the x-axis and the frequency goes to the y-axis. Okay, and lastly, we have the title. Okay, make sure the title talks about what the information given in the graph is. Okay, so that is how to make your salty graph. Okay, hope this helps. Bye bye.